Hello, Starling darlings. Welcome back. It's Astro Bree. I have the rest of the full moon Capricorn astrology ready for you. I just wanted to thank you all for coming back to my page and checking out this video. We're going to be talking about planetary rulership here. So if you are a sun dominant person, meaning you're a Leo or you have the sun in the first house, you have the sun conjunct the moon in Leo, or a very heavy Leo placement. You may even just be a big fifth houser and feel that this is applied to you. If it applies to you, it applies to you. This is a Leo. So this is the solar placement, okay? So very much Leo frequency is something that we all tap into because we all have solar placements. It's just that Leo is a little bit more authentic about what they are. It's like Aquarius. Because they are opposites, it's very much like Aquarius, where Aquarius can define what everything else is. Leo knows what they are. So Leo, it's been a trial. 2019, 2020, 2021 was a whole thing. Having Saturn, your ruler, the ruler of your opposite house, moving through your sixth house and then up into your seventh and retrograding back and forth for half the year. You've been learning how to partner. You've been learning what you need and what you have to offer and what that means for who comes back in. That's interpersonal relationships on any scale. There are some big notes here. So I want to say first, if we have any Leos with the degrees 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, and 4, these 6 degrees are really getting hit the hardest right now. This full moon that happened with 24 degrees Aquarius, Saturn, your ruler, it was making some pretty strong aspects to Venus, which is beautiful. There's some deep cathartic healing happening for all Saturn placement people and anyone with the house of Capricorn, Aquarius. Even if it's not lit up, these transits are experiencing in one of your houses, and in that house you would be feeling redefined with your own confident, unique user guide. Okay, so May 12th, there was a first pass this year, May 12th. Saturn had moved into the place he's at now, which is where the sun will oppose. I've got December 3rd is when Saturn is going to go direct at 19 degrees. The first pass that we had at these 24 degrees 50 was May 12th this year. And the next, and then now is what we're experiencing with this full moon. And then the last part of this, the last closing up of that previous chapter and fully into this new series is January 14th. Is a big one for you. It may be that you boss up. You may take on a new responsibility. You may take on new job titles or new interpersonal titles. There could be, depending on, like, Leo and Aquarius have been going through it because of this Saturn stuff. But if you've made it through it, you may have just found exactly the type of place where your specific uniqueness is respected and you have autonomy over it. So Leo, July 23rd, the moon will move into Gemini. That is a sextile. At the same time, the sun is going to be moving into Leo, and it will officially be your season and your birthday, and that's so freaking exciting. So all of my Leos out there, happy birthday. It's coming. Cancer season has been a lot. That's a 12th house experience, especially with the full moon happening, really closing up and opening up doors of your subconscious and your internal needs to fulfill yourself. What you know subconsciously that you talk to yourself is in the 6th house, which is where the sun has been. And then for you. And then the 12th house, which is Cancer for you, that's where the moon's that's where the sun's been, and the moon was in Capricorn. This opposition making you really understand that narrative, like between the veil between your subconscious and your conscious, and like how if you direct your conscious in a certain way, your subconscious will follow suit. It's just about doing things in a mindly manner. Okay, so full moon in Aquarius, August 12th. I happen to know a very special little starling that has that birthday. It is a very special thing to be born in August. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, intentional babies. The reason the king star is up there is because people purposely get pregnant in the wintertime because it is safer to be pregnant in the wintertime and have a baby in the summer than it is to have a newborn in the wintertime. Like, that's, look at the animal kingdom for that one. There is a breeding season, and if humans had a breeding season, that's why the king star is in the middle of the summer, is because you guys were all wished for. And part of that, and not to say that other children weren't wished for, but a Leo's children, different thing, man. It is a different thing. You are needed. When a mother, and I speak because I have a Leo, when a mother prays for a child and they really open their heart to becoming a different person for that child, like developing their own self because of this calling, that's when we get Leo and Aquarius children. We get very different. Oh, Taurus and Scorpio. It's a different kind of manifestation. It's still fixed. It's still absolute, but there's a little bit more struggle and a little bit more reverence for calmness and peace rather than individuality and creative abilities. Okay, August 14th, also going to be the Sun opposite Saturn. If you have parental issues, if you are one of the younger readers or one of the younger subscribers, this could be an issue with parents. If it's an adult situation, and you're an adult and you're the adult, it could be that you're dealing with an authority like government situations. Okay, Sun opposite Saturn is always a tight time of the year, but this time with Saturn retrograde at 21 degrees and these passes and everything else, again, if you have a solar or ascendant or moon placement anywhere between 19 and 25 of Leo, Aquarius, and Capricorn and Taurus and Scorpio, the 4 fixed signs, if you have placement of these numbers, this is your time. Like, it's now. I know that the world is always a stage for you, but it's really now. Okay, everybody's ready. And you got this. You got this. You were built for it. So let's move on. Okay, so Sagittarius. Hi, babies. I'm a Sag rising. I'm a big fan, okay? Big fan of all Sagittarius energy, Sag suns, moons. So you guys are like my best friends. I cannot wait to hang out and run around with you guys. It's so much fun. Jupiter is making some very mild aspects this summer. You're going to be chill. You're going to be just, it's until the sun moves into the fire sign, you're still working with this solar 8th house stuff, and a lot of the shit that you're going through, Sag, is internal. You're not going to be talking about it with anybody. If there is 1 or 2 people, it's probably like a therapist or a stranger that you don't know and will never see again. There's something safe about that for Sagittarius. They're very comfortable telling their truth to just about anybody as long as, consequences are aligned with exactly who they're talking to. I speak as a Sag. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see here. So Venus is at 24 degrees. She's really making these aspects to Saturn. I talked about this a little bit with Capricorn and Aquarius, and Leo, and I'll go into it more. Venus at 24 degrees trining Saturn retrograde is in this full moon. This full moon is about commitment to love, not just for outwardly love, but old love. Something I really love about Capricorn energy and Saturn energy, and I keep saying Capricorn even though Saturn is in tropical Aquarius, because as we know, Vedically, sidereally, the calculation puts it in just getting in Aquarius now. We're just leaving the Capricorn frequency. Either way, Saturn is in its full freaking power right now. Saturn is here. Receipts are coming up. People have to deal with their stuff, and for you, Sag, there's a very cathartic release here about power. Cancer, the moon rules your 8th house, Sag. 8 houses from the placement of Sagittarius is ruled by the moon, meaning that wherever the moon sits in your chart, you go through these cathartic changes, and it's so quick. And I mean, you do it with grace and style. People love it. Like, it's very dramatic, but it's also very beautiful, and you always come up on the end because, that 9th house with Leo. But this 8th house mission, this 8th house this year, this Cancer season, we didn't have a shitload of shit in across from Cancer. We had it in Aquarius. It had moved over. We still have Pluto. Don't get me wrong, Pluto's still at like 28 or 27 degrees Capricorn, but over the last 3 years, we had so much placement in that house. There was so much focus on what business means, what, authority means, what self-autonomy means. And the more that I focused on that, the more I realized that Capricorn is petrified wood. I don't know if you guys know anything about petrified wood, but there is a process that happens to wood where it literally becomes stone. Ancients say that grandmothers were the moon and grandfathers were the stone. And if you think of trees and the way that they grow in such a mother nature fashion, and then you partner that with the idea that over time, in the right conditions, that mother energy can become that old, ancient, ancestral magic that is petrified wood. That's Capricorn frequency. That's what we just perfected with this full moon. Very much so. And for Jupiter placement people, Sagittarius and Pisces, Capricorn squares Jupiter. This was a big development for you guys on like a personal values level. Stuff you picked up in early childhood. Things that you wanted to be when you were little. Places where you felt free in your mind that may have come back to you through your adulthood. These things are starting to solidify as parts of you, and it's all about self-love and acceptance. So it's really beautiful. That's that Venus-Saturn frequency that's happening right now. That's happening through your 8th house, and yes, Jupiter's in a place where he's trining Sagittarius, so there is a lot of positive growth, but it's fast. It comes over like huge fiery waves of emotion, especially with this Cancer stuff. It's like thunderstorms of emotion, and it's very cathartic. So July 24th, Venus is actually going to square your ruler Jupiter as she moves into Cancer. So there will be an adjustment here. There will be something that you're learning about yourself, about this commitment that you've made in this full moon, and you're going to be moving it forward. It may be a little bit of a power struggle, but like roll with it. Okay, Venus is with a lot of asteroids and Black Moon Lilith. So this is about really redefining your internal feminine divine energy. So that goes for men and women. I'm talking about those playful, sweet, innocent, vulnerable parts of you. Those are feminine qualities. Those are not masculine qualities. They're feminine qualities. The curiosity is something, and the docileness and the sweetness and the vulnerability that comes with being a child, that frequency of Leo, it seems very masculine when you look at like a Leo person. But once you see a Leo person play, there's a divine child in them that is neither gender. And that divine child is made up of an equal part of masculine and feminine. And a Leo can really lose that that ability to be playful, and that's a very, very, very sad line. With Sagittarius though, well, we have this growth, this expansion with Venus happening. I kind of see it like you're shedding an old skin and you're growing bigger. You've released this shape because it doesn't fit you anymore. You may have felt super vulnerable during that full moon. But as the 24th and then the 25th hits, you're going to take a stride, and there's going to just follow your intuition about what feels good for you. And if it doesn't feel good for you, just leave. Just peace out. That's okay. Take space, figure out what it is that didn't work so that you can apply yourself differently next time. Don't force it. Never force it. Don't force poop. Don't force dates. Don't force anything. If it doesn't flow, just let it go. July 31st, the sun will trine Jupiter, and that's when we get that, like, whatever happens on the 24th and 25th, by the 31st, like a week later, it's going to flip on its head. It'll become super playful again and integrate into a more exciting thing. There is a new moon on the 28th in Leo at 5 degrees. If you have any placements in fire at 5 degrees, that's going to be lit. Placements of the fixed signs at 5 degrees. So Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio, if you have 5 degrees, you may be a trigger. You may be a catalyst in this moment. But there is a closing in to Chiron that's happening. So overall, Sagittarius and Pisces, you really are learning to develop that healer empathy. Pisces, it's a bit different because there's like a lot of trines, and I'll get to that in a moment. But because there's so much resistance with this fire and this earth, it's a breakthrough for you, Sag. So just trust the process, okay? Just trust the process. That aspect between Jupiter and the moon will perfect, Jupiter and Chiron will perfect later in the fall, in the fall. But for now, we're really going to feel the sting of it August 14th. There will be like a, ooh, why is that hurt? Oh, I didn't know I hurt there. And it's going to be because you see it in someone else. You see some sort of pain, you identify, and you may project that love out right away, but that is actually a sign. Chiron shows you have the intent to view your pain through other people. So just lean into that, Sag. It's going to feel weird because it's people-y, and I know that's not like your thing, but just lean into it. You know what to say, so just let it flow, okay? Pisces, I don't have a lot here because a lot of what I said for Sag really works for you too. And like I said, like I do my readings, I do it by planet. So if you have a heavy Jupiter, heavy Pisces, if you have a Jupiter conjunct Neptune, you're a Pisces person. If you have a Jupiter in the first house, you have that Pisces Sagittarius vibe, regardless of what sign it's in, okay? So if you have Jupiter conjunct the moon, or the moon in Pisces, or a stellium in Pisces, or if you just happen to be extremely Neptunian, and your Neptune is in fact connected to Jupiter. If it's not, this isn't for you. Look harder at your chart. We'll find your dominant. Call me up. But this full moon was in your 11th and 5th house, Pisces. This is about creation and expression and the results from that. True creative expression and what that releases. When you release that out in the world, what you receive when you get something authentic back that matches that frequency that you put out there. You have to be vulnerable to get it out there. And Pisces, you've been through it. Water season is your thing. Cancer season, it's your glory. Like you're happy, you're flowing, people appreciate your honesty, your openness, your sweetness in a different way during Cancer season. Now during Leo season, it gets a little bit, people get hot and heavy, and you may just need to sit down and relax until Virgo season. But I do have a few notes for you, Pisces. There is constant trines here from this South Node, Scorpio. Like, you are letting go. There may be a track record at this point of people you have just released. I need you to focus more on what you are comfortable in instead of what you aren't comfortable in, okay? There's so many asteroids, Black Moon, Lilith, and Venus moving in to Cancer, making more trines to you. There's so much ability for you to let go and release yourself into different archetypes and experiment and play. Venus is moving from your 5th house right now and into your 6th. So you're going to find from this creative play and the rewards that you're getting from it, from releasing this creativity out into the world and being authentic with yourself, you're going to see that develops a new way of acting and being for you as it moves into the 6th house. So when Venus moves into the 6th house for you, Venus is like a kind of like a I wouldn't say she's a ruler of your chart, but she's more than just a regular benefactor. To Pisces, Venus is because she's exalted in the waters of Pisces, from the story where her and Cupid, her son, were lost in the floods, and she had the fishes tie their feet together so they didn't get lost. So Venus is exalted in Pisces. She very much loves being in Pisces. And so any aspects from Venus are also important to a Pisces person, as well as a Jupiter. Like I did speak about the Jupiter, there is a real conjunction forming tighter and tighter all the time between Jupiter and Chiron. And it will continue to get, as we go into the fall, we're really going to start to appreciate that cathartic, I see your pain, and now I see my own. It's a new, you're not here to fix them. You're not seeing your pain. It's not visible to you so you can give them a solution. It's visible to you so you can give yourself the awareness that you have the problem too. Because when we see something outside of ourselves, it's very easy for us to be like, oh, I know what to do. I mean, just ask any teenager how to parent. They'll tell you exactly what to do. It's not until we get there that we know. Pisces, I don't have to tell you this. Just go with the flow. What do I got here? 8 minutes left on my recording, Capricorn and Aquarius. Have you been paying attention? I've already been talking to the other signs, and when I talk to all the signs, I talk to all the planets, and we all have all the planets, so it's all important. However, Capricorn, I need you to take notes. You got that? The ones with Virgo, they already have a pen. Okay, so full moon in your sign was at 21 degrees, Capricorn and Cancer. If you know anyone with Libra and Aries at 21 degrees, this also really affected them. Really, like anywhere between 19 and 26 degrees. But I digress. Saturn has been here before, okay? Saturn wrote on the wall of Capricorn March 20th, 2019, May 19th, 2019, and again in December 29th, 2019. And those three significant dates were different levels of transformation that happened, that were signified, solidified, and made material this full moon, today, mid-July, July 14th, 2022. Saturn is currently in a trine to Venus, so commitment looks good on you. Financially, it looks good on you. Emotionally, it looks good on you. Mentally, you're working clearly, like you're thinking clearly. This Saturn retrograde hitting Venus in Gemini, really giving you all the information about what it is that you actually think about pleasure and what you believe and know about pleasure, what you think you know anyway, about yourself and about your own inner dialogue. Really a beautiful blessing for inner dialogue here, because we also have a square to the nodes that's really tight. So there's like a T-square. And if you looked at the chart, it looks like a gigantic red square with a cross in it. And it's the nodes opposing each other, coming into a conjunction with Mars and Uranus. So south node on this side in Scorpio, releasing things that don't serve us, things that are underneath, things that we hide, things we don't tell people, like our shame, our pain, our history, our trauma, our debt. All of those 8th house taboo things. That's what Scorpio's been releasing. And Scorpio is a sextile to Capricorn. Aquarius, it's a square, okay? It's a different thing. But to Capricorn, this is a developing evolution that's been going on for quite some time. Way before the pandemic struck, you had these waves of information come in, and you had chances to say, nope, I will not go that way unless I have A, B, and C. And you had to figure out what A, B, and C was for you. Those 3 dates I mentioned, March, May, and December of 2019, those are the dates. Now, July 30th this year, the moon and Saturn will oppose while the moon is conjunct Mercury. That is the moon and Mercury in Leo. Okay, so we already have the beginning of Leo season on the 3rd, and then we have this opposition show up just beforehand. So one of the things about Saturn opposing the moon and especially when the moon is conjunct Mercury, is there could be a rules, new limitations, new languages, especially retrograde, being that there's also a gigantic square to the nodes. I feel like this could be bigger than maybe just a personal micro level where we're all like, oh, I'm going to go on this new diet routine. It could be food rations. There could be information about certain kinds of monies supplied. And I say that because we still have this Venus influence with Saturn. And when Venus and Saturn come together, you get like a fixed budget with a surplus. This fixed cross is really going to push it though. So I wrote hide. August 14th, man. If you guys could all just stay inside and be really careful, like everybody, please. Like I mentioned in the Leo thing, August 12th is going to be a big day. But August 14th, something else is going to happen. It's in the stars, and it may not be, again, most of the time we do not find out what actually happened on a date until years later. We may find out details, press releases come out weeks later, but something is going to move and shift in a very large way on the 14th of August. Capricorn, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus. It's about you. It's about stability. It's about money. It's about sustainability. And it's about control. So to handle this, I would suggest on a micro level that everybody needs to do a double check on their autonomy. Make sure that this is exactly what you want. And make sure that you are prepared for governing influences that may not go in the same direction that you're comfortable with. Not to say it won't be good for you. It'll teach you resistance. I'm going to shuffle a little bit. So these are the Black Moon Lilith cards. I love these cards. It's my first real solid deck that I ever did oracally. When I started picking up astrology to do professionally, which I'd known the signs since I was a child. My mother made sure before I was 12, I knew the 12 archetypes. But to do calculated astrological charts, when I first took upon it myself, I decided to get make myself some cards, like some cue cards. And then I figured I was about halfway through drawing a card deck, and I was like, I could really order this. And so I found the first one I could, and it was called Black Moon Lilith. Turns out Lilith is a very important part of my chart. She's all through it, and through the most significant people in my life, she shows up pretty prominently in their chart too. She's everywhere right now in this full moon. Here's the moms. Ooh, we got cards. All right, we got cards. Aries and the sun. All right, so we're looking at Aries season. This is a clue for Aries season. So this is March. So Aries season is a square to where we've just been. Also, Jupiter is in Aries right now. The sun is moving into a new